What is your favorite Red River memory?
So I guess this might paint me as a bandwagon fan because short answer, I started watching OU football in 1999. That was Bob Stoops' first year as head coach. Now, when you put into context that I was 8 years old during that, like the portion of that season, it probably makes more sense. I was just getting old enough to have enough patience to sit down for 2.5 hours and pay attention to what my dad was screaming at the TV for, my entire childhood. And
If
then it
there's
started
someone
to,
out there who's calling an 8-year-old a bandwagon fan, then they're just sad.
well, like
Anyways,
a lot of fan, like there's a lot of OU fans out there like that are of my generation that started watching OU football
right.
when Bob Stoops started. And to the casual observer, that might seem like, oh, okay, so you bandwagon fans. Like, no, like most of us were kids during the 90s, so we didn't have to watch Peter Gardere steal OU's heart in the early 90s and watch those bad OU teams in the mid to late 90s until Bob got there. So um, you know, I've got two answers. So I'll have just probably an overall answer. Um, my birthday, and this is not so you guys say happy birthday to me, but it is tomorrow. But the kind of point of this is every 5 years, OU Texas is on my birthday. Like it's usually the second Saturday of October, and usually every 5 years, the way that the Earth's relationship with the sun and all that science stuff, like every 5 years, OU Texas is my birthday. So every 5 years, it's either a really good day or a really shitty day. 2 years ago was my birthday. I turned 33 and Texas beat OU 49-0. And the good thing about that game, when you don't have a quarterback, you kind of just take out any hope going into that game, and you just think, whatever happens, I don't care. And of course that happened. And I just thought, well, I can watch some movies on Hulu or something. I can busy myself with that. But like the good thing, I turned 21 in 2011. On that day, OU won 63-21 or something like that. So my 21st birthday of what I can remember was really fun. Um, I was in attendance for the 2021 game when Caleb Williams came off the bench and Texas had a 28-7 lead in the second quarter. OU came back and won in regulation, which I mean that sentence alone is just weird to me. That was great, but probably guys like my dad was in the Air Force until I was 16, and the place we lived at the longest was Abilene, Texas at Dyess Air Force Base. And we happened to live there mainly during the 5 game winning streak from 2000 to 2004. And my dad would always go watch the OU Texas game with his coworker buddy who was a huge Texas fan. So we would go over to their house and be the only OU fans in like a room of 15 Texas fans. And so as a 10, 11, like however old I was, 10 or 11-year-old, watching Roy Williams jump over the Texas running back to hit Chris Sims and make the ball fly up in the air only to get intercepted, when it was just my dad and me losing our minds in that living room, like that's a football core memory that I don't think could ever really be matched. That's probably it, even over the games that I've been to in person.
Right. That would definitely stick with you for sure. Uh, Cody, same question to you. Favorite memory of the rivalry?
Yeah. Yeah. What's funny, Brady, simultaneously while you were feeling the elation of that moment, I was having heartbreak at that same time. So, the wonderful thing about rivalries, and this is for any college football rivalry, you can throw records or rankings out the window. And so, um, there's been years where Texas shouldn't have been on the same field as Oklahoma, and we beat them. Same thing for Oklahoma. They've, reached up and beat us when they probably shouldn't have. And I think the first thing that comes to mind is 49-0. Like that's just something that just doesn't happen in our rivalry. And I don't care if they trotted out Barry Switzer to play quarterback that day. We're gonna sulk. We're not gonna let the sulking stop. We're going to make them eat every single bit of that 49-0 game. So that was wonderful. But we understood that they were kind of handicapped. I think I can take it back to 2008. We had a number 5 Texas versus a number 1 Oklahoma, two high-powered teams, both offensively and defensively. Really and truthfully, the moment that really sticks out amongst all these, great moments in this rivalry for me is OU went up 14-3 at the end of the first quarter, and this Texas team that had Colt McCoy as their quarterback and Jordan Shipley and Quan Cosby, we had some really, really impactful players. They're just sleepwalking, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Sleepwalking through the game. The ensuing kickoff, Jordan Shipley took it back for a touchdown, and I remember what makes this so special is I remember sitting with my dad and my uncles and my brother and all of our cousins, and they all the men in the family looked and said, Texas is going to win this game. That it just flipped on its head. That was the wake up call they needed. And those guys kind of knew, like, they could kind of read the tea leaves of how that game might go. And they knew right then, and when it was 14-3 and now 14-10, we got them. And sure enough, Texas came back and beat, OU that year 45-35. And it was a high powered Sam Bradford versus Colt McCoy is, just a lot of superstars, NFL players on the field. Wonderful matchup. And that really sticks out to me as far as being, just a wonderful memory. But as Brady said, you could pull from a lot of the games and have some really wonderful memories from them.